Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Advanced Wars by Web replay commentary. This is another League game ended not too long ago. And this is a map that I really enjoyed playing on. It was a little weird. I'm not a super huge fan of base light maps, but the way this one actually really plays out really lends itself to a lot of interesting and fun play. I'm going to go ahead and just discuss the COs. I'm playing as Kindle. All units that attack from a urban terrain gets a 40% bonus to firepower. This is going to be HQs, bases, air, and seaports, it looks like. Cities, labs, and communication towers. Really good day-to-day as long as you're able to take advantage of it. She has really good captures because you're not wanting to really take the hits with your own infantry, so you're kind of forced to use like a recon or something to delay captures, and even then they still deal a bit more chip damage. 40% is a very big increase to get. It's very strong. Of course, she's got 2 powers, Urban Blight, which costs 3 stars, and it deals 3 hit points of damage to any enemy unit on urban terrain, and sets your firepower boost from 40% to 80%. And then High Society will give you a 130%, if I'm not mistaken, firepower boost on urban terrain. And then for every city, specifically city, she has, she gets an extra 3% firepower. So honestly pretty good. She's going to just deal a lot of damage on the terrain that you're fighting on, and even her superpower just gives you a nice bump in firepower. I mean, if you have just 10 cities and all of your other properties that provide money are, bases, airports, things like that, that's still a 30% firepower increase, which isn't fantastic, but it's not bad, especially if it's backed up by a communications tower like here, like a comm tower, or the fact that you get another 10% from your power already. And then once you strike from a city, you're just dealing insane damage. My opponent is playing Sonja, who has actually a huge swath of day-to-day abilities. Her units have 1 extra vision, meaning that she's able to see slightly farther in Fog of War. That ability literally makes her tier 3 as opposed to tier 4. Her counterattacks are 50% stronger, meaning that you don't usually want to take an even engagement against her because you might not end up ahead, you might end up equal or behind despite getting the first strike bonus. And all of her hit points are hidden, so you never know really how much damage you're doing. You can guess, of course, and you do have the ability to look at the damage calculator, but for example, if she pulls a unit back into the fog and brings it back out, you don't necessarily know how much hit points it has. And finally, she has a bit of bad luck. Minus 9% to plus 9%. Every CO has bare minimum plus 10% good luck, plus 9% good luck. And then some COs have either higher normal luck or will have bad luck. For Sonja, this usually ends up meaning that she just deals whatever the typical damage is, whatever's going to be in the middle between her 2 values, because it accounts for both bad and good luck when it displays the damage range, and it's going to be most likely around the middle. But yeah, struggle grinding. This was, like I said, a very fun map to play, honestly. Let's go ahead and get started. Of course, these first few turns are going to be just pretty, standard stuff, building infantry. I guess the replay's just not wanting to cooperate here with me. Give me just a second. Oh, and now you're seeing the end of the match. Alright, well, you kind of got spoiled, I guess, for a little bit of the end, but it's okay. So we're just moving out, capturing our available properties. This is just pretty standard stuff that you're going to see, obviously. Nothing is super crazy. However, we are going to start getting into some pretty interesting conversations pretty soon when you see some of the properties that are being captured. Over here. So, but nothing, again, crazy. I'll start talking about that right now. So here, with this capture, we can now see that there is the possibility to get a capture chain, as this infantry can capture here, move down, capture here, and then move down to capture the comm tower and then even move down and try and capture this city as well. So you can start up some chains here. Not a whole lot of chains are available, but some. It can also be hard to try and make use of the chains, but here I go ahead and I build the first recon on day 4. Because I definitely want to try and get intel. I want to be able to know when air units are coming out, so that way I know when I need to start building my anti-air. And we're both starting to move out towards the middle over here. And Sonja still just goes for 2 infantry. Not terrible for sure, but I think I would have probably gotten at least something out. But it looks like maybe they're just trying to save up for something. Now I do break the chain and I go ahead and I just capture the comm tower right now. But I know because I have access to the chain, which is why I just go for the comm tower as opposed to capping this property. I move the recon out and I build a tank to kind of follow it up, and I'm kind of intending for this to start being my strong side, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have. I should have started this to be my strong side because I have the airport backup. But it's whatever. We're both going for central properties now. Making, roughly the same. They're a little bit ahead of me, and they're still just building infantry. So now I'm already kind of 2 vehicles ahead, and now I have the airport in view, so I know that he has not captured the airport yet. Again, I go ahead and I move down to start capturing that property there. I get the comm tower, so that way I'll have the firepower. And because I have this comm tower, this now means that most engagements are going to go in my favor regardless, because I don't have bad luck. Impacting any of my damage, because bad luck impacts counterattacks too. And then I also go for an artillery up here along with an infantry. I am trying to build more artillery overall because I feel like I get destroyed by them very easily, and I'm trying to understand the nuances of them. So you will see in more recent games that I do usually attempt to build some artillery, provided I'm not playing max. Now as you can see, he's already going for... Oh, that is not supposed to scroll down. Don't do that to me, please. There we go. He's already starting to go for the central property down here, which is good. These are like 3 juicy, nice targets you want to get. So getting into the sooner the better. And we move to my turn. And as we can see, we've got an anti-air and a tank over here. And there we go. So yeah, built the anti-air, built the tank. So the tank is now going to start giving some force. I'm a little surprised they went for the anti-air right away. Of course, it's definitely better to be preemptive with anti-airs for sure. You want them out before the copters get the strike on you and get the drop. But still, I go ahead and I don't know why I did it like that. But I move the tank out, and I start moving the artillery towards the middle here. Just trying to get some a little bit of scouting by heading into the forest, build another infantry and an infantry, and I just save up some cash for next turn. I didn't really have any big plans. Yep, we can now see that he's capped the airport, and I know that, which means that now I can start building an anti-air, which is what I should have built from this base already. Admittedly, I can admit when I've made a misplay for sure. Good, moves up the tank, starts bringing that up. And then he goes for the attack on the infantry. And yeah, that was just a terrible engagement overall. I mean, 7 hit points off to take 5 in return. Now, this still does actually prevent me from getting the city, of course. And in fact, I don't get it for a while. But that's besides the point for right now. So then they go for artillery and tank. And kind of splitting their vehicles evenly. But I am able to kill... I do go ahead and I figure it is just better to strike rather than to cap and face another hit later. I start capturing the airport now. And I start capturing my middle properties as well. I'm a little behind on that, admittedly. And Sonja is actually very ahead of me in the capture game right now. So I got to start kind of picking up my game. And I go ahead and I build a medium tank. And I bring this tank down to start bringing it towards the middle, because I see that he's got a tank over there. And I'll be able to see kind of where it goes. He just parks it in the forest, kind of being defensive, but he's spotting my artillery now, which is not great. You don't want your opponent to know where the artillery are, but with Sonja, you're kind of expected to have that. And brings me down to 1 hit point, which I was not super thrilled about. He brings the anti-air down. Moves up the artillery. Now he's kind of covering the tank, which is good. He builds battlecopter, another anti-air, and an infantry, which is very surprising I'm assuming he's probably thinking, oh, I've built a battlecopter now, so he'll probably do the same. I go ahead and I shoot on the infantry, and I can't tell how much damage I've done, but I go ahead and I attack, and I'm able to kill it. I move my 1 hit point infantry away, and I strike on the healthy. And I just continue to start reinforcing with more infantry that I've got available, starting to group them up, putting them in the forest. And I put the tank on the defensive terrain. I don't get any firepower bonuses here, but just defense is good. And I'm able to actually just keep this recon here to know what's coming up. I build a infantry from that base and an anti-air down here. And I completely regret building it that way. I should not have in the grand scheme of things. I probably should have built it closer to the airport, but again, what is done is done. So he tries to move the 2 hit point infantry, gets trapped. That's fine. He kills my low infantry as well. And he's able to first strike me with his tank, which is really nice for him so far. He's thinking, yeah, he's able to get that. He's able to kill the infantry there and start capturing as well, along with bringing the anti-air up and getting a very strong hit. But as we can see here, he's very much overextending right here. I have a base right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't quite move here. But I'm only 2 turns away from reinforcing very strong over here on this end. And even from over here, it's only 3 turns as well. So he's starting to overextend a bit. He goes ahead and he's able to spot my recon somehow. I think he actually got trapped with that infantry, and the replay just didn't catch it right. He goes ahead and he moves the battlecopter up and brings the anti-air, builds another battlecopter and an artillery along with an infantry. And I'm kind of thinking that that's a really odd play to make, building a battlecopter when I clearly can see that you have one and you know that I can see it. But I capture on this property, start getting that, and I'm able to move a medium tank in and kill the anti-air. So now that is shut down, meaning that, you know, until he produces more anti over here, I'm going to be able to use battlecopters pretty freely. I'm able to position the artillery in a way where if he wants to try and first strike my tank, first off he's getting a property hit off, which is really nice, and then the artillery will fire back very, very hard. I go ahead and I start pulling back my troops and kind of regrouping. I build the anti-air so I can start hitting the battlecopter, and then I go tank battlecopter over here. So I was able to actually use all of my funds exactly, which was nice. I'm still making less, though. I do have a bit of an income disadvantage, and that will, deteriorate me as the game goes on. He's able to see that I do have a battlecopter over here by starting to capture that city, and he's initiating quite a few captures over here. He's able to first strike that infantry, dealing a ton of damage there. And he's also able to fully interrupt that capture there. So I'm still only making 15,000. I was very annoyed with the lack of funds that I had throughout most of this game. He built a medium tank of his own, starting to tech up to match my tech. He pulls back a bit and just gets some more vision. Although despite the fact that I'm making quite a lot less than him, and he's gotten some pretty solid hits and engagements, we're still very close overall in terms of value. And I'm able to capture property there at least. I'm able to get a first strike with my battlecopter and not know how much damage I'm doing, which is always good. I'm able to kill the 2 hit point infantry here, get the strike on the infantry there, and even attack him while he's on the property, which is nice. And guess what? I now go ahead and I get a property boosted attack on the anti-air, which brings it down very low. I go ahead and I join Cap over here, just trying to get the property and really just trying to make him waste his time with dealing with that infantry. That's what I want him to do. I want him to waste time. I go ahead and I build a double tank, pull the recon back even further. I go from there. So yeah, he's got 1 hit point. Very annoyed that he did not die, but it is what it is. He pulls the anti-air back, which is good. You should. He gets a nice strike off over here on my tank, only taking 1 hit point in return, which is pretty good. Continues capping. Now he's making 20,000, so he's making quite a lot. Fully interrupts the capture over there, to be expected. Starts moving the artillery in and the medium tank as well. And I know I got on him a little bit for overextending. I also end up overextending quite a bit in this map, as we will see. I go ahead and I start capturing there. I've killed the infantry, so I start capturing his property there. I'm like, I gotta start doing something. I go ahead and I pull some units back for repairs, and I basically just start like grouping up over here to prepare a counter push. Over here, I get my artillery in place, start hiding in the forest and sitting on properties to get the defensive bonus. And yeah, now I'm just starting to kind of ball up my units over here. Build a battlecopter, another infantry, and then a tank. So nothing too crazy. Don't take a whole lot of engagements because I need to just kind of sit and bide my time. As he finishes the capture there, making 21k, interrupts my capture over here, fully expected. Moves the artillery in, starts capturing another metal property, and then he sees my battlecopter, so he's able to take a very hard first strike. I'm very disappointed I let it go there. And then he places his tank on my city, I'm assuming to get the terrain benefits, fires on me, per normal. Just continues to move up, move the anti-air down to where my airport is, again, very good. Builds a battlecopter, infantry, mech, which I found to be a little odd. So at this point, again, despite the fact that I'm making quite a lot less, I've taken some fairly solid engagements overall to a certain degree, and I'm able to keep pushing pretty hard. And I go ahead and I activate my power, and this then brings deals 3 damage to any unit that is currently on a property, which is a few of his units. Not a whole lot, but he straight up parked his tank right here and let it take a hit. And I get a first strike on it, bringing it very, very low. I go ahead and I'm able to kill his battlecopter as well. Kill the battlecopter there while I'm at it. I go ahead and I just continue to get some first strikes. I park myself on the property to get the bonus there. I thought I was safe. I really wasn't. I go ahead and I finish off the capping infantry there. I bring that tank onto the property to kill his artillery. I am able to deal a pretty heavy blow there, killing that. I pull myself back onto the property and again just continue to group up here to make sure I'm taking a good engagement. Bring the battlecopter out along with the tank, and I bring the tank a little bit down because I'm expecting him to have an anti-air. I start capturing on his property because I think it's funny. Build another 2 tanks and go from there. So yeah, that was a very hard counter push. I was able to pull out. I was able to kill quite a few units and bring the value very more in my favor. But Sonja goes ahead and pops the superpower counter break. I just realized I didn't even talk about Sonja's powers. Enhanced vision is pretty bad. It just gives 1 extra vision and allows you to see into forests and reefs. That's it, and it costs 3 stars. And then for 5 stars, counter break does the same thing, and then always lets you get the first strike whenever you're attacked, even if the enemy is to attack you first. Well, that means that if you take an engagement that should be an even or in your favor engagement, like a tank versus tank, her tanks will fire first with the 50% firepower bonus, making it hurt very hard. So he goes again, starts firing, and then he gets the artillery hit on my tank, which is not good. Moves the mech over, kills the capping infantry there, upsetty spaghetti, gets the first strike there with his medium tank, and that was a very hard blow to my army. Not losing, but essentially losing that tank. He built out another medium tank and then another light tank, and just starts kind of preparing there. However, I'm still pretty far ahead with value so far. It's about 20,000 in my favor so far. So I just pull him back, start healing up. And yeah, I'm just going at the infantry. I'm able to move the recon over so that way I can get some intel and know what's going on and start moving my infantry forward. I know he's got the anti-air there, so I'm not going to let him just kill my battlecopter. And I go ahead and first strike his anti-air there. I start capturing this property again now. And basically just focus on repositioning. Now, this was a very risky capture. I should not have gone for it most likely. But yeah, just at this point, positioning, build another battlecopter. I'm feeling confident because I have this tank here and a tank here. That anti-air support he tries to bring in will not be enough. And go from there. So yeah, again, I mean, despite the fact that he's making a fair amount more than me, he's just not really able to capitalize on it very well so far. I've been able just to take not better engagements, but good engagements on my end too. He first strikes my artillery and then kills it, which I was very disappointed about. And yeah, he's just grouping together, built another medium tank and a light tank, and not much. I mean, with 2 bases, there's not really a whole lot of units you're building. But I do take the city from him. He does let me get this, so this is going to start turning the tides in my favor. I'm starting to just capture that property up here, and I move into the forest so that way I can just see what's going on. I pull the tanks back over here, and so I can start first striking the battlecopter and his tank already. I also attack with the battlecopter onto his medium tank, and I fire with my 5 hit point one because I have the property bonus. I'm thinking, yeah, this will be pretty good, and I'm even able to kill it, which now is putting me in a really good position. This is going to start letting me try and really just take the game back over. From here, I even am able to get a hit off on his artillery, and I just start moving towards the middle in like a bit of a death ball, and I build a rocket. Not really sure if this was the best play or not, because it does take a little bit for a rocket to get into action and get into play. I probably would have been better off with a medium tank for having just the same movement amount, but better movement method with having treads over tires. But I digress. Anyways, he finally kills the medium tank, and he starts pushing his medium tank over here, which I think is not smart because there's an airport here. I can build a bomber and shut it down. You sent your anti-air unit up here, which is not where it needs to be. The airport is here, so it needs to be here or maybe over here, but that's overextending if it's right here. He does first strike my tank, which is not good, and he does hit my infantry, but he doesn't hit my capping one, which is good, which means I'm starting to get that back in place. He's wasting my time by hitting my infantry and wasting some of my money. Gets the strike off with his mech and does a very devastating blow, and also builds a rocket, and actually base skips to build the rocket because of how much repairs he's already having to take on, which is really good for me. They're good, and I capture the city there, and that one there too. So now we're tied. We're both making 20,000. I go ahead and urban blight, and now that we're on even income, any unit that he builds that's remotely expensive is going to start taking a bit of a toll on his income. And also, because now he's only making 20,000, if I were to build a bomber, he would have to look to build either anti-air or a fighter to kill it, and the fighter is not going to be a good option, and anti-air are pretty easily shut down by tanks, so his option he's able to afford is not good. I go ahead and I am able to bring the medium tank very low and kill it, and I start capturing another one of his properties down here, finishing off some more infantry, and I go ahead and keep the battlecopter around. I'm able to strike down the artillery, hitting it pretty hard, hitting the anti-air and killing it, killing the 4 hit point tank and the 6 hit point infantry. Go ahead and kill the artillery there as well. I protect the infantry and hit on his mech, killing it. I even strike his mech as well with, or his anti-air with mine, and finish it off with the tank of my own. Again, just starting to really position out. Now, granted, this is kind of overextending a bit, but I'm pretty far in the lead so far, as we'll see once we finish this up. And again, I go for battlecopter, infantry, tank, making use of all of my available areas. So yeah, he has 6 units left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 44,000 worth of units. This is not looking very great for him. He goes ahead and activate the superpower, and he continues this fight for a bit. And granted, he's not out of it just yet, but that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So hits my anti-air, gets the rocket in range, kills my anti-air, hides the tank, pulls back the infantry, builds an anti-air and a tank, and that's it. Now going up from 4 to 8. Congrats. I take a property from him, putting it to 21, him down to 19. I start capturing another property, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to first strike your tank. I'm going to just go ahead and kill it, because I can. It's not going to cost me to do this. I'm going to be able to do a whole lot. I joined that battlecopter up, reducing my unit count, but just putting it back at full hit points, because a 2 hit point copter is kind of not very good, honestly. And yeah, you see, I just kind of, I don't know why I moved like that, but I'm still just kind of grouping together. I don't want to put myself to where I could get punished. I'm just kind of covering up some caps now and building another battlecopter, tank, and infantry because I've got the funds for it. And it's mostly just repositioning now. That medium tank is going to get some work along with that rocket, kind of just keeping it in position, and he builds another anti-air and another tank over here. I'm assuming he's probably just expecting me to just flood over here with battlecopters, and I kind of end up doing that. I kind of play into his hands, but first I take two of more of his properties. I check to see if he's built anything from the airport, which he has not. I go ahead and I scout the tank, and I don't press forward a whole lot over here because I figure he's probably got an anti-air. I just need to scout, I need to know where it is, and then I'll go from there, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm even starting to kind of shift things down over here as well to get rid of it. And I go ahead and I build a bomber because I've got 24,000 in total, well, a little over. So I can build 2 infantry as well and still have enough. Like I fill out all of my bases. So he's slowly, steadily getting some more value back. He goes ahead and first strikes my tank, which is really good. He kills the battlecopter, which is expected, and continues to move it up. He builds a battlecopter of his own, I'm assuming to try and get more unit count, because then he can go recon and infantry like he does, and still have some money left over. But now I'm making 6,000 more than he is, and I've taken a ton of better engagements overall, so this is going to, as you'll see, start really turning the tides in my favor. I take another property of his, and I start moving that bomber out. I go ahead and get the first strike on the property with my B-copter and kill it right here, which is nice. I go ahead and I scout the tank, fire, move, kill it, and move in with the other battlecopter as well. Move the tanks down, and now I start capturing on this comm tower because I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to have to do something to prevent me from taking it, or I'm just going to have a 20% firepower increase on you. Good luck. I even start capturing there to try and draw in the battlecopter so that way I can actually hit it with my anti-air. And yeah, now I've got just like a huge group right here with my skeleton crew over here. So I started this off as my strong side and then pushed it down here. And imagine if I had just been pushing this as my strong side, this could have been over way sooner. I go ahead and just do what I do best. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. So yeah, he kills that with a rocket. He's able to move out and first strike the infantry there. But he's unable to see my anti-air. So he is able to kill my infantry with that strike. He goes ahead and he's trying to take out the tank over here. He kills another battlecopter. So he does take some pretty good engagements there. I mean, he did kill 2 battlecopters, and he also hits me off property, but he's not able to actually interrupt the comm tower capture. He basically gives it to me. So I take that right away, and as you can see, this is an 8,000 difference in funds. I go ahead and I pop the power to hit anything that is on a property, and I get that huge property bonus. I try and kill the tank, and I don't, and I'm a little disappointed, but it's whatever. I didn't really expect it to, but I kind of hoped. I go ahead and kill the tank over here. I'm able to also get a hit off here to take that down pretty low. I even strike with my normal tank just to try and see if I can take it out. I go for the risky play and kill the anti-air with the B-copter, kill the 1 hit point tank as well. And I just put that onto the property to try and get vision. I don't really get a whole lot. But I am able to kill the infantry over here. Take another hit, and I kill it. And that was awesome. I capture on another property, and I move my bomber in, and as you can see, I'm making a fair amount of money this turn. I wonder what I'm going to do, but first I capture another property of his, move out the tank, build another bomber, along with my 2 infantry. So yeah, at this point, again, back down to 6 units, although even less value this time. Huge income disparity. The property lead for this, if I'm not mistaken, was 26. So if I had 26,000 in the bank, that would have ended the game. So I was very close to that right away. He goes ahead and he pops his power, and then next action is the resignation, which is kind of expected at this point. I mean, looking over, I obviously have these properties. You know, I already took these 2, and I'm taking this one. I have your comm tower, I'm capturing this one. If I'm out here with a bunch of units and you only have 6, there's not much that can be done. Yeah, that was pretty much the game. Main focal points I wanted to kind of hammer away with this was just capitalizing on aggression and really just kind of showcasing how different unit placements can mean a whole lot. Like, the anti-air that he built, a lot of them were out of position. I very rarely put an air unit up here, and the one time I did, I got punished for it, and then I just kept bringing them down over here. And he was able to get a very good income lead over me, but was not able to capitalize on the income lead. Was not able to capitalize on the winning strides. We were fairly close in value by the end of every single turn, and maybe that would have been a little bit different if this was a 3-base map, but everything else played out pretty similarly. But in either way, it was still a very fun match for sure. And it really helped showcase Kindle. I think, that she's a pretty good CO overall. I mean, dealing damage to the reinforcements is pretty good. It makes your opponent have to use some funds. Obviously, she's not anywhere near as strong as some, other titans, obviously, but I think she's definitely a pretty interesting and fun CO. I might have to use her a little bit more. But I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I hope that y'all have a fantastic day. Love you guys.